ready? Good evening. I'd like to call a special meeting of the Planning Board to order Tuesday, March 28, 2023. Mr. Friday? Mr. Brunetto? Mr. Brady? Dr. O'Neill? Mr. Fleming, I'm here. We have two items on the, let's go to 3R first, the master plan review. We need to reschedule land development comprehensive permit, Old Boston Neck Road, 20 units. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the board and staff and council, my apologies. I was in my office on Sunday preparing the affidavit of notice, and some discrepancies came up to my attention. And I went into town hall to confirm, and on Monday, and I immediately alerted staff that there was a defect in the notice and that we'd have no jurisdiction to move forward. So I do apologize. I appreciate the scheduling of the special meeting, but unfortunately, we don't have any jurisdiction to move forward in accordance with Rhode Island law. And I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. And I had mentioned to you the 18th. That's fine for you. And
yes,
then
the 18th, and then
we're
the
going to
20th.
start it on the 18th, just so you guys know. We're going to try to start this on our regular meeting, the last item on the agenda, and get in as much as we can by a reasonable hour. And then we'll all agree to continue to the 26th, at which time we have a special meeting with one agenda item, which is this, and we can hopefully finish the entire thing on the 26th.
Okay.
Is that a problem? No?
No, I don't think so. You're in Block Island on the 26th. Well, we're going to have you on the 18th. Okay.
We're going to be last. So on the
18th.
agenda, this will go last. No, understood. I'll try to get on first.
No, last. I waited all the way, Mike, and I made an executive decision. The pluses and minuses. So that's what we're going to do. We'll hopefully we'll get through the regular items by, say, 8 o'clock, and then we'll have 8 to 10 or so to begin your presentation.
Okay.
And then we'll continue to the 26th.
And hopefully we'll be able to finish by then. If one of the witnesses is not available, if we can't get Mr. Pimentel in, I don't know what we'll deal with at that point. But.
Well, we could probably start to take public comment and then have Mr. Pimentel. No, I can't do that. Can't do that.
He and I know that very well. That won't work.
That's not working.
Well, why don't we deal with it when we get it?
Yeah. Let's see how we go.
Okay, very
All right.
good. All right.
Thanks. So
Thank you. And again, my apologies. I own that. So.
stuff happens, Mr. Doherty. Stuff happens. So can I have a motion to continue to the 18th? Right. All right. Never mind. We don't need that motion because we're not opening this. Take it back. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
We'll see you, folks. So then the regular agenda, Michael, we have the Main Street grants discussion and possible vote to support one or more grant applications.
Yes, sir.
It's all yours.
Thank you. You've got some material in front of you, and I believe we sent, I don't know what we sent out in the packet. Yep. So let me just give you a little background. Sorry, I forgot we were on TV.
It's a rookie mistake, Mike.
Hey, I grew up in a family of 7. My voice carries pretty well, but I'll use the mic. Pardon. So what this grant application is about is the short-term rental regulations. We've had discussion about short-term rental regulations in the past. I believe I've shown you some outlines of the types of regulatory provisions we would like to consider. We haven't gotten it all the way through to having a full ordinance ready to send to the town council. So along comes the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation with a program called the Site Readiness Program. And it's a grant program that can fund up to 100% of projects. And they have two different categories. One is site-specific planning and improvements, and the other is municipal assistance. Site-specific planning and improvements is, just as it sounds, acquiring funding to build something, whether it's a town hall, addition, or a recreation facility, or something like that. The second category is municipal assistance, and it specifically allows for assisting towns with drafting of zoning ordinances or other important regulations. So what we have thought to do is to, well, before we go to that, I just want to say, there was recently a presentation by a staff member of Rhode Island Commerce who reviewed 3 years' worth of Main Street improvements. And this program is all predicated under the Main Street program that's been in place at the state level for many years. And in the most recent year, 2018-19, they awarded just over $1 million for 9 projects. So, and I've got a full outline. They had done wayfinding signage in Barrington, flags and banners and wayfinding signs for East Providence, ballpark improvements on Block Island. So it runs the gamut, storefront improvements in Providence. So this is a program that's been around a while. Commerce has really bumped it up and is bolstering its funding. I'm not sure how much is available right now. Jim, do you know how much they're making available this year? I've forgotten. I know it's in the packet. So anyway, the staff has put together 8 applications, and one of them is for drafting the short-term rental regulation that has been obviously a topic of discussion. One of the criteria that is they provided us in the application form is an opportunity to put in support letters, and in their instructions to us, they encourage support letters to be submitted. They will score bonus points if we have some. So being that this is the body that either drafts new regulations or reviews regulations that have been put to the town council for consideration, particularly zoning regulations, we thought that it would be appropriate to ask the planning board to issue a letter of support. And you've got a copy of the letter that I've drafted, I believe. It's a one-pager. Did that one come with?
Where is it?
Oh, it's in the packet, actually. I think it's the last page of your packet.
All right.
So it just states the letter is written to express support for the Narragansett Planning Board for the town's application to hire a consultant to draft the short-term rental regulation. We've had, as you know, we've had some trouble getting this thing, off first base. So we've done a lot of research, but we really do need someone to help us bring it around third base and home plate. I noted in the letter that there are 2 goals, the policies of the town in the comprehensive plan, that this grant in this ordinance would comply with. Policy H13, ensure that seasonal rentals do not unduly strain public services. And you can see there are 2 sub-policies there. I won't read them out loud. And then policy H1.4, ensure that rental properties meet local and state housing codes to maintain the health, safety, and welfare of the occupants. So if you want to take a little time to read through the entire document
Mike,
yourself.
and you told me, just for the record, it doesn't have to go back to the council. This is going directly from the board to the funding source?
Yes, this is not a recommendation to town council. This is a letter of support to the funding source, Commerce RI.
Okay.
Is one letter sufficient with all our signatures, or we all need to draft some sort of letter based on?
No,
No, I think it's just from me, right?
just for the chair to sign.
Okay.
Just looking for your acquiescence. If you have any questions about the program, But if you would take a vote, hopefully, to approve sending this letter, or if you want to change any of the language in the letter, be happy to take care of that.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I certainly support it, but the question is, how do you maintain or look at the enforcement issue there in terms of these, the result?
The short-term rental ordinance, how are we going to enforce that?
Yeah.
You know, it's an imperfect situation, and as I said, I've read a few ordinances from around the country. They do have enforcement provisions. There is a possibility, some communities would increase staffing in the building inspections office. Others would hire a third-party contractor to actually observe rentals. And they do it regularly. There are third-party contractors that do this as their business. It's not something where you would have to find someone, an organization who could kind of do it.
Yeah, so, and Doc, so they have computer vendors that scrub. There's over 100, it's not just Airbnb, there's over 100 of those short-term rental sites. They have computer vendors that scrub those websites, and then the town can hire those vendors and report where the rentals are. At a minimum, the state and then the towns will have the short-term rental registries. And from there, as Mike was saying, it will either be hiring an enforcement officer, a third-party vendor to be able to cite those violations. And then ultimately, it would go to municipal court, just like any other zoning violation or a municipal ordinance violation. But because of the scope and complexity and short-termness of the short-term rentals, it really starts with hiring a computer vendor to kind of scrub the websites to see who is renting in Narragansett, and they use them in Newport.
Would it be too complicated to combine this, looking ahead, to this position with the 3 or 4 renters unrelated position? I know that's somewhere, I read that or heard.
Yeah,
that
so
you-
in my opinion, probably not, because short-term rentals
separate.
ultimately, I'd rather not discuss that in open session, but ultimately, they're kind of two different things. One
Oh, yeah, they
one
are.
is citywide, one may be more localized.
I was just thinking of the enforcement person in terms of
But yeah, so we do have an
financial,
enforcement.
yeah,
I'm
coming up with
assuming
the
they'd have-
finances for it.
They would have to hire, but even on the short-term rental
Yeah.
with the state, there's usually a fee to register a there will be a fee associated
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
You did that way better than I could have.
All right. Does anybody got anything else, so we can make a motion to?
I would move adoption of the letter and support for the Rhode Island Site Readiness Grant Program.
All those in favor?
All right.
So moved. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I would move to adjourn,
Thanks, Jim.
Second?
non-debatable.
Motion by Mr. Brady, second by Dr. News. All those in favor? Thank you.